You're listening to another lively episode of Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. This is a place we're entitled to Brad's opinion. And now for your host, Brad Allard.
Yes. Another beautiful day in Johnson County, or I guess we're South Tarrant County now here in Crowley. But anyway, my guest needs an introduction anywhere and
whatever.
Anywhere in Texas, practically. I mean, she's a celebrity,
Oh my
and
gosh.
she's going to have her own reality show. Is that true, Shandy? It's Shandy Stogsdill. She's going to
That
be
would
on.
have to be censored. No one.
Do you watch those reality shows?
Not really.
Neither do I. And I'm like, but there are, they're just one of my former students is on HGTV.
Which one?
Jennifer
no, I
Todrick.
have seen hers.
Yeah, all right.
I like the HGTV ones. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm a real estate agent.
Yeah,
Of course I do.
No,
but
I'm not talking about like these stuff you see on
so you
Fox.
watch Selling
she's
Sunset.
super talented.
Oh, yeah.
I do. I have watched Selling Sunset. I'm not gonna lie because my daughter likes it. And
Of course, yeah, your daughter.
Well, there's no Jennifer
You get
Mars
good
was
ideas
her
on
name.
there, though.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robin loves that show, and I knew her as Jennifer Marsh. Now she's Jennifer Todrick, and she's on for season 3, and people say, golly, she's really made it big. I said, is she really made it big if she's not been on my show yet? I mean, really. I say the same thing about Kelly Clarkson. It's like,
Right.
so she's got all this going on, but until she's on my show,
Oh my gosh, is that a challenge? She's challenging Jennifer and Kelly.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they're going to just jump right on that. Just, oh, my Lord, I've been waiting for this. Forget Broadway. Yay, I made it on Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. Anyway, you making fun of my...
They should just at least comment. That
Yeah.
would raise your numbers.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well.
Jennifer and Kelly.
Oh, well. Anyway, today we're going to talk about real estate, as always.
Yes.
And I might throw a few surprise questions in there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like, who do you think is more handsome, Brad Pitt, George Clooney? That kind of stuff.
George Clooney. I can answer that.
Well, really, I get tired of being mistaken for him. No, it's a real problem.
Please
I know.
say that.
I am so sure.
I mean, it's like I'm trying to eat
Poor
here.
Robin.
Oh, you could give me an autograph. I go like, oh, okay. Who's this? I thought you were George Clooney. Anyway, so I'm waiting for the link here, bud, and then we'll talk about this other stuff here, the sponsors. Speaking of George Clooney, there's Daniel Bayston at CrossFit Burleson. Yeah. CrossFit Burleson, 317 Southwest Wilshire. It's cold outside, as you may have guessed. I can't say baby, it's cold outside, because apparently that's a triggering song. You ever heard that?
I have.
Is that goofy? Dean Martin.
It doesn't really bother me, but I will tell you, my kids do notice they're like, what? Like, I was like, oh, I guess I never thought about it.
No.
It's a generational thing, I think.
It's goofy. But anyway, back to Daniel in CrossFit Burleson. You need to, if you're going to be working out, you need to work out. This is a serious workout. But also, not only just that, you need to do it indoors because it's getting cold. And so they have all sorts of plans. They got supervision. They got all sorts of stuff. Oh, I turned up the sound.
His volume's on.
I'm doing the best I can here. I'm still learning how to work this thing.
I know lots of great people that work out at CrossFit Burleson.
Really?
I am not a CrossFitter.
Well, it's a pretty stout workout, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm old and I have like a torn hip and I'm like a yoga. No, I don't
Well,
like
then
yoga
we
either.
got somebody coming for you then. I'm just coming. Where are the rest of these? I'm going to look for 817 page here on my sharing. There it is. Okay, good.
Oh, good.
Okay, and since you do that and you're next, I got something for you.
Oh, are we giving out? What are we doing?
Giving out Christmas cards.
Oh, yay.
Yay, Christmas. It's upside down. Christmas cards. And I have there's a gift card in it from one of our other sponsors.
Okay. Do I open it now?
If you want. Well, I'll tell you when to open it.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, we're going to be talking about your business and all that quite a bit. So we can skip you.
Yes. Skip me.
Yeah, okay. We'll go on to our place. I just came from our place. In fact, I had breakfast there this morning. I had breakfast there Thursday. I began to hang out there more than Otto, which is not that hard to do, frankly, because he shows up every now and then. Speaking of,
I love our place.
yeah, I always give him a hard time because he's walking around like a celebrity. But anyways, great breakfast, great service. Just it's a good place to go in it, and it's really comfortable down home. All those things. It's on the highway in Alsbury. You know where it's at. So go to our place, and now you can open the card.
Oh,
Not to our place. Go to the next one there, Taylor.
okay.
Because I have a gift card from Wild Cigar and Culture in there.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, I went there yesterday, got some gift cards.
Well, that's a beautiful card.
Yes, and
I'll read it later.
Yeah, so because you don't want to cry on the air.
I know.
You know,
I'm emotional.
You know, and so
yes, thank you.
You know, Chris is going to be on Thursday to talk about his Christmas deals.
Because you gave that to me because I said I liked cigars.
Yes.
Yes.
And now with those new glasses, you really give that, you know, business.
Oh,
like
totally.
Look,
like
you know,
I just need I need a highball and a cigar.
Yeah. Oh my Lord, that would fit you perfect. Sit there at the bar and hey, how's it going?
Oh my gosh.
So how's your hammer hanging? You know, we're getting a little bit off the topic here, but anyway, I went by the estate. I had a pretty good crowd there for watching the ball game and all, and they got, like I said, gift cards, and they got special drinks specials coming up and all this. They got a big deal for New Year's Eve, so Chris will be here Thursday to talk about that. So Wild Cigar and Culture, go check it out over at the Standard. Also at the Standard is our friend Tiffany at the Local Life. The magazine came out about 2.5 weeks ago, but she still has locallifetx.com if you want to see anything that's current. They have coupons, they have ads, they have articles, they have what's going on in the community. Tiffany's wearing like 5 hats.
Yes.
You know,
lots of energy.
Yes, she
has
does.
a lot of energy.
She just put out her own media kit, so she's trying to expand into that.
I did notice that. I need to.
Take a look at it.
I do. December's been weird.
Well,
crazy.
Yeah, we got 3 kids, and they're all into school.
And business has been busy.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. So.
Well, you still got 2 in school, right? Well, 3. I guess Griffin's still at Hill, right?
Well, yeah, but now he took his finals and he's out. That's an interesting story.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you can tell us if you want, or off the air, or
he might be embarrassed, but
who cares? That's what kids are there for. I embarrass my kids all the time just by showing up. Anyway, and also thank you to friend Southern Gym that opened today. Normally they're not open on Mondays, but they're open right now. Robin's been working a lot of hours, and she says they're pretty busy, real steady.
It's
all
still
day
on my
long.
list to go over there because I have a piece I want her to look at, but I'm going to wait till after Christmas because
Why?
Because I know she's busy, crazy busy,
but
and mine is not that important.
It's important to you. It's important to Gayla, dadgummit.
That's true. She's so sweet.
All right. So, but they got a lot going on. They do a lot of repair business, a lot of appraisal, but they also added some inventory, and they got some special plans, gift cards and such. And
now, is the big one open? The big open?
It's still about a month away.
Okay, we're close.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Trying to get anything done, as you well know.
I know.
Constructed or redone. Well, I got to wait for this.
Permits and construction
and just all the whipping that goes on.
The contractors.
They're hoping in about 6 weeks.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
that'll be nice.
It is, and I've heard her plans. I mean, it's not going to be just double the space. It's going to be a different kind of space, and she's doing something I wish more. I want to say female-oriented businesses, but most of her clients are women. Mm-hmm. They're going to have a place to park the husbands over at the side.
Nice.
With the ball game on, and maybe a little prosecco or a red wine.
She's a smart lady.
You betcha. I mean, it's like I go to these places with Robin, and it's like, I don't even have a place to sit down. But that's just a place I can go have glass and watch the ball game while she goes and spends the mortgage money, and so it's a great deal.
No, that's smart. Yeah. Super smart.
And speaking of smart, Hot Works, Michelle Humphrey, very, very bright woman.
I'm still coming, Michelle. I'm going to go to Hot Work. It's been crazy.
Yes.
It's on the list.
11 different workout plans. You talk about yoga, she got it, for hot yoga. I know it's busy being,
she texts me and I never text her back. That's how crazy it's been.
Oh, my
Sorry,
goodness.
Michelle.
Okay. Well, now Hot Works, 731. Go over there, get yourself a workout. And it's 24/7, so if you want to ditch the kids at 2 a.m., you can go work out.
I do not. I am not up at 2. I am not your man at 2 a.m. I mean, I might get up at 4 a.m. for the day, but I am not a late night person.
Neither am I.
No.
But anyway, she does a great job, and she's a good friend. Also, speaking of good friends, Melissa Harmon over at Texas Farm Bureau at 682-804-0534.
So I do want to tell you about Texas Farm Bureau. I have different insurance agencies that I use. It wasn't Melissa, but I had a client who we shopped everywhere if they were buying a barn dominium, and Texas Farm Bureau was the best deal.
Thank you. It was, well, I had a good insurance company before, and they'd given us no grief. But I had her check out my plans, and I saved a little money. I saved about $500 total on my home insurance.
That works.
Yeah, and
and home insurance, yes, we were just talking about it's going to be crazy.
And so I saved some money. Now, if she can't save you money, she'll tell you.
That's nice.
Yeah, she's not into fudging the numbers just to make a sale and that kind of stuff. She's a great deal of ethics. And so she's here in town. Her office is over off of Summercrest in Wilshire. So she's local. And that's nice to have a local agent.
Yes.
And let's see, what else we got? Of course, you know this one, Re-Inspire. We've been doing this one for a while. Tell us about this.
Well, Re-Inspire's this is just specific to their ornament fundraiser. So it's a $15 donation. These ornaments are super nice. They're wood. They're a local company makes them for us. And all proceeds are going to our housing project that we are actively pursuing right now. So,
have you gotten good response yet?
Yeah,
Are people eyeing these?
Oh, yeah. The ornaments usually sell really well. Accents and Burleson. There's a couple, and I'm going to miss people, but I do know specifically Accents and Burleson has them out on the counter. And they're great little gift tags for your gifts.
And they're also at Bennett's in downtown Cleveland.
Oh, yeah.
The office
yes,
supply.
Bennett's. Yeah, I'm terrible, y'all.
No, it's all right. It's good for y'all. Hope it works for y'all. And also, I think last week was Rachel's Hope Sale, so I don't know if we have that one, but we do have one more. I believe it is the Center for ASD. That was last week, Taylor. There we go. No, hey, it's okay. It's so good. He's very sensitive. Center for ASD, they'll always take money, of course. They need financial help, but they always also need paper goods, Lysol, plastic cutlery, containers.
Yeah, so while you're at Sam's, just pick it up.
That's what I did.
Drop it off.
Their representatives on our little networking group, and I went to Sam's and I needed Ziploc bags. So rather than just buying a box, I bought, a big container of them and took her 2-3 extra boxes of the quart size and the gallon size, and you don't think about those kind of things.
No, that stuff costs money though.
Well,
it's not. I'm saying for them, like you don't realize all those little things add up.
It does.
Like you're not helping the kids when you have to buy Ziploc bags, right?
Right.
I just saw Lisa last week at the Dwell trivia night. That was fun.
Dwell must be where it's happening these days, huh? Well, so let's talk about real estate in Burleson. I was reading in a Dallas paper an article headline about how DFW real estate values have dropped.
Okay.
But I haven't seen that here. I mean, now my personal valuations have gone down in the last 3 months, but I just thought because it was so overpriced in the first place.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So really, we're not talking
it's
about
really
a depression
a correction. And when you're reading something in Dallas, was it the Dallas Morning News?
Yes.
Okay. So they're going to take into account obviously Dallas County, but the majority of that movement is usually Collin County. Collin County was like crazy inflated. When you have a market that moved 30 to 50% in 1 year, the only way to go is down. So that's what's happening over in Collin County and really North Dallas County. It's just correcting itself.
Well, I'm from Collin County, and when I moved there in 1974, it was still somewhat like Burleson, a cow town.
Right. No, it's not like that.
And not even remotely. I was there 2 weeks ago visiting a couple of friends I went to high school and college with. We graduated both high school and at Baylor together. And, where we were sitting having lunch was just a cow pasture.
Right.
In my day. It wasn't even close to the edge of town either.
Oh, yeah. Well, I remember when Frisco was like, what is happening? There's nothing here.
No, Frisco was just a map reference.
Yeah.
And that's huge and all this other stuff.
And that's I'm going to say that's only been 20 years because I went to UNT. I graduated 22 years ago. Oh, my gosh. But I'm just saying, like, not very long ago, you'd get on 380 and, like, you were outside of Denton and there was literally nothing from right outside of Denton all the way to McKinney.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I know. And it's like when I drive to go see my cousin in Oklahoma. And once I used to get off 35 and hit 287, it'd be the next town I would drive through would be Wichita Falls.
Yes.
And now I go almost all the way through Decatur and past Decatur, and it's still houses going up everywhere. And, Hazlet as a community didn't even exist.
Right.
It's like Saxe over in Collin County.
Yes.
There was no Saxe when I was growing up over there. And as far as, towns like Princeton and Melissa and Wiley.
Like Farmersville. I went to Farmersville one time when I was like 14 because I played softball with a bunch of girls that lived in Farmersville. And I thought, where have these people taken me? Did we go to Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Like it was so far out there.
Farmersville, the home of Audie Murphy.
Oh, really? I did not realize that.
You know who that is, right?
Yes,
Okay,
I know who Audie Murphy is.
That's good. Every American should.
I am kind of old.
Well, I know, but still, a lot of these kids have no idea. Audie Murphy, yeah, he was in World War II. World War II? Oh, whoa, tell us about this, World War II. So anyway, but I'm just saying the nothing about that community of Plano strikes me with nostalgia. Even I went back a while back, about a year ago, went back to my home street. Mm-hmm. And when I moved there, it was a new construction street. The trees are all newly planted with the spikes hold them up and whatever. And now the trees cover the street, and it's like, I don't recognize this at all.
Yeah.
And so, but it's fine. I don't.
There are plenty of people who live in Plano and love it, though. It's just not
too expensive for me.
Well, and it's very different than Johnson County over there.
Very much so.
Very different.
Yeah. And I prefer Johnson County.
I do too, obviously.
Well, I mean, I've been here. I never thought I'd live in Johnson County for 31 years or whatever it's been.
Yeah.
When I first moved here. Because, most people don't live in their first house, but we're still in the same house we bought. We've never moved.
That is unusual.
Yeah.
That's really unusual these days.
Oh, I was going to ask you about that. My wife and I are talking about doing some renovations. We talked about this before. Mm-hmm. What does that do to the house value itself?
Well, you have to do the right renovations.
Okay.
And there are lots of different things. There's, number one, kitchens and baths always bring money. People say that all the time. Anytime you update your kitchens and baths, it's going to increase the value of your home. Mm-hmm. You just want to be careful about how you update based on the neighborhood you live in. The neighborhood you live in, sky's the limit.
Well, my wallet is the limit.
I know, but I'm just saying, you live in a neighborhood that the value is going to be there no matter what. But sometimes you'll get in these first-time buyer areas, and someone wants to go over and above what they should, make it super custom and all the things. You're not really going to see as much of a return on that. You're going to want to stay basic in the basic neighborhoods.
Sooner or later, we're going to be replacing a carpet who's been there, well over 20 years now. And it's not that it's raggedy or anything, but there are stains. We have dogs and kids and accidents.
A lot of people hate carpet now.
Yeah, and so we're looking to replace that with some other type of flooring.
Yes.
And another thing that just drives my wife crazy is popcorn ceilings.
Yes.
I don't know what that was about in the first place, but I didn't care. But she wants to get rid of that. Well, those kind of changes add to the value of the house, or just make it more fun for us to live in it?
No, those will help.
Okay.
Popcorn ceilings are. So, number one, popcorn ceilings were a great way to mimic or to cover up bad tape and bed jobs, just so y'all know.
Well, we even had real problems. The only time we've had problems with our ceiling.
Well, but just ugliness, right? You have to, if something doesn't have a lot of texture on it, you have to make sure it looks nice. When you're going to put a lot of texture on it, it's just get it up there. It doesn't have to be pretty. And then it was they thought it was acoustical, it made it sound better. I don't know.
I don't know how that works.
But the things we learn over
time. I know, but she's been wanting to get rid of that for a while. And as far as the
but in your price range, in that kind of house, popcorn ceilings make a difference.
You can get rid of it?
For sure. Get rid of it.
Well, that's on the plans.
Yes.
And then the
You're
floors.
welcome, Robin.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm telling the truth, though.
Yeah, I know, but it's she doesn't need any help. Robin said, we will be replacing those ceilings. And I said, really? She says, yes. Either you will or my next husband will.
It dates the house. And when a buyer is looking at it, they're thinking, oh my goodness, I have to do something with those ceilings.
So we should get rid of the avocado green counters and the orange paneling and all that.
I mean, unless you're going for a mid-century modern, you're going to make it, I don't know, that's a specific buyer.
Yeah. Well, when we first moved to Burleson in the early 90s, we looked at some of the homes that had already been built.
Yes.
And they were built in the 70s.
Yes.
And they just screamed it,
Yes.
They said 70s.
I love a good
the shag carpeting.
time capsule.
Oh.
When I get in great grandma time capsule, it's so great.
It's one thing if it's 1920s, but 1970s is not a time I want to go back to.
That's true. But some of those are I think I just appreciate how well they took care of things.
Well, I know, but you go in there and it's, I mentioned it the colors are
yes,
more
they're a lot
and,
shag.
Yeah. And, or they had, heavy paneling and just no.
My grandma had red shag carpet in her bedrooms. Red.
Beauty.
I mean,
Beauty.
Why?
I don't know. It just looked good.
Ugh.
I know. Maybe just old ladies like it that way. My great aunt had that kind of decorating taste. It was And also like in her jewelry, it was like she didn't have just like a ring. It was like a ring, you know.
Oh yeah.
All sorts of stuff
my
on it.
grandmother wasn't really like over the top, but the red shag carpet, I'm not sure. Maybe somebody else picked it, and she was like, fine.
Yeah, when you walk in and you see the lava lamps, you know.
Yeah.
That's so, and you probably have to do that. I'd like to see your face sometimes when you're walking in with a client into a house that you know it just ain't going to work for you, but you can't go, good God, what a piece of crap this is, right in front of the homeowner. You got to
but here's the thing. I'm not in sales. I don't consider myself a salesperson. So what I would do is say, that's going to cost you that to replace, and that's going to cost that to I'm not trying to sell you any house for any reason.
Right.
You know, but if you love it, I'll be like, okay, I mean, let's figure out the positives.
Okay, you know, that green and brown shag carpet, you know, it may be coming back. You know, we had that in our house in the 1970s.
Yes.
And, you know, it looked really good under the bumper pool table.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Bumper pool?
Did you have a pit couch too?
Yes.
Yes, we did too.
And
it was brown.
Yeah. We had all that. We had a skylight, you know, and so it's all good. But, you know, I drove by that house, you know, like I said, about a few months ago. And previously, whoever owned it a few years ago let it go to crap. And I was
that's unfortunate.
I worked hard in that yard, you know, dadgummit. But whoever's bought it now, it really fixed it up nice and it looks like decent people live there. So, but it really was, you know, they got rid of the yucca plants.
Oh, I love yucca. I'm putting yucca in my house.
When you don't take care of it and they start sprouting off all these limbs.
I mean, take care of it. But I don't, listen, I don't have time for ferns in my life. I'm all about the cacti.
Well, let's get back to Burleson real estate. The people are thinking, what is these people talking about?
This is what we do.
I know. Well, anyway.
Okay, we digress.
Now, would you say the Burleson market's growing or staying the same or shrinking?
I don't feel like we're shrinking. It's slower.
Slower.
We're not shrinking. I will tell you that December's been really busy, and we're starting to get where we're getting more calls of buyers are ready to look again.
I've been told that December actually is a slow month.
It usually is. It's been pretty busy. Now, here's the thing, though. A lot of lenders are giving a lot of deals. So, like, I can give you an exact example. I have a buyer right now. Great credit, very low debt. They've got all their money saved up, ready to go. And they had a lender lock them in at $499 for the first year. And then they locked in the rest of, it was $487 for the first year. Because they gave $499 to begin with. And then we kept negotiating basically. So now's the time to negotiate with lenders. And then they locked in the remainder of the 30 years to $587. Which y'all rates are like 7.5.
Yeah.
So the thing is that if you have great credit, be working on your credit right now, be working on your savings, be working on paying your debt off, you can still get a good rate because lenders will give people who are less risk good rates.
Right.
The ones that you're like barely skating in on a 580 credit score, your debt to income is kind of sketchy at best. You're like, I need a down payment assistance. I don't have anything in savings. You're going to pay premium rate. That doesn't mean you can't get a house. You can get a house, but you're going to pay a premium.
Yeah. Well, I've always had a debt aversion. And so, fortunately, like we were talking about before, this podcast has helped me lower some of my debt. And I'm getting offers all the time to refinance. And I'm like, no thanks.
Not now. It's not the time to refinance.
No, thanks. But I've done it more than once to pay school tuition.
Right.
One time I thought I might be between jobs for a little while. And so I just refinanced. And then Dallas Baptist called right in the middle of the whole process. So, did I need the money? Yeah, it turns out the air conditioner will go kaput in about 30 days after that point. So that's not cheap.
And it's okay to leverage your house for things that life things. That's what it's there for to some degree. Yeah,
it's not to go on ski trips, I guess, or whatever. But it's just it's a beating going through refinance.
It is.
It is. And then they come in and make you sign all these papers, and
it's just like a purchase. So when you remember a purchase, it's the same. You have to go through the same lending process, really.
Well, I'm glad to have somebody there to help you with that, because I've heard stories of people showing up saying, okay, we need your kidney now. And then, what do you mean? Well, and remember the stack of papers you signed when you're refinancing? We slipped that in the middle, that kind of thing, because you're just signing away,
Right.
And so it's a beating. I don't know how y'all keep up with all of that.
Any piece of paper you sign is because someone got sued over that exact thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when it seems silly, someone actually sued somebody.
Yeah, it's a whooping, but that's that part of it. What types of houses are selling the most here?
Obviously, the first-time buyer market is still really strong.
Do we have any first-time house available in Burleson?
I mean, first-time is right now like $300,000.
Good heavens!
So anything 300 and below is still moving pretty quickly. The higher end people are waiting because you think about it. If you're going to mortgage a $500,000 house at 7.5% interest, that's something you gotta really be ready for.
You gotta really bite the bullet.
So
on
that market, the 400 and over, is moving slower. It's not at a complete standstill. It's just moving slower. And here's what I will say about buyers right now: they are picky. So and they have the privilege of being picky because they just got beat up in a really bad market where it was like, you want a house, you take what you can get. Sellers were like, I'm not fixing it. I'm not doing that. I'm not updating. Well, now sellers, if you want to sell your house in the spring, you need to start painting, start doing your repairs. If you need new countertops, get them now.
I hope Robin is working hard right now and not have this on the radio. Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you're still going to get the money out that you put in. You're just not going to be able to sit back and be like, oh, come to me, all the buyers, and I get whatever I want. You're going to have to give something now. And that is a quality house.
Are you able to appraise houses? I know not officially for like loans, but you probably have a pretty good eye for what a house could go for.
Yeah. So most agents can. We do we call it a CMA. And so it's a market analysis basically. And so like we look at everything that is listed, pending, sold, and usually in the last 90 days is the best way to do it. And then we can kind of narrow down based on looking at pictures and areas, and then also, price per foot. Not everything there's like 3 different ways that an appraiser does it. There's 3 different.
So when you drive by like my house, go see your mama and all that, if you ever took the time, you could glance at my house and say that's worth X.
Yes, I could give you a range.
Okay.
I try not to give an exact number ever.
Right. How much does the interior of the house got to do with that number?
A lot.
Yeah. Okay. Because it may be really nice inside or a pigsty inside. I promise you it's very nice. My wife, she's very, very, very neat.
She's OCD.
No, not to a clinical degree, but let's just say that we don't leave stuff lying on the counter.
She doesn't
overnight.
Like clutter.
We don't leave anything in the sink overnight.
Yeah.
Like that. No clutter.
I don't like it, but I also have 3 kids, so some of it's like a never-ending battle that I'm like,
sure.
When I live by myself, it's going to be.
She wants to vacuum the carpet at least, once a week, whether it needs it or not, and that kind of stuff. And like, okay, just don't do it during the ball game.
Dust settles in carpet. I'm with you, Robin.
Yeah, I know.
Needs to be vacuumed at least once a week.
Yeah, and she does it.
Yeah.
But anyway, it just I just wondered if they teach you these skills about appraisal, because I know that formal appraisals that go through all this routine and, they come in, they do measurements and then all this other stuff. And
they do a lot of desk appraisals these days.
It's really?
Very interesting.
Really? They do it through drones now, I hear too?
Some drones, but like they have access to the MLS. So a lot of appraisers, here's the thing, like if it's an appraisal that has to, what we could say, be built. So I worked for an appraiser when I was in college. So if an appraisal has to be built where it's like a rural area, or it's a lot of land in a house, or it's a specific style of house that's very hard to find, or, there's a lot of reasons why an appraisal would have to be built, then they have to go out and look at that. But if you're talking about just like cookie cutter houses in a neighborhood and like 5 houses have sold in the last 90 days and they're very similar to your house, it's easy to do a desk appraisal. That's not a hard thing to do. I could do a desk appraisal.
Well, I've had, like I've said, done it more than once.
Yeah.
And I've had appraisers come out and it just...
Yours is harder because you sit on an acre and your neighborhood doesn't, you're not getting a house every so often that sells, it's...
And
It is harder.
And so here comes the appraiser, and we'll have like cookies and milk for her, and here we go, treat her nice, and she starts walking around, and she starts looking at the ceiling or at the roof. We're like, what is she seeing? Is she costing me money? And
if your house is not updated, so what happens is if they have a house that is built at a similar time and it's completely updated, their value is going to be higher than your value. So they start deducting. They start at the top for you based on what all the other comps look like, and then they start deducting based on what you don't have done.
Well, I just know both times we've had it done, the lender had to go to bat, say, no, it's worth more than that, and all this other stuff, so they could meet the qualifications.
So just so you guys know, like it's been hard to do, but we can protest appraisals.
But we did.
Yeah.
And because, it was like, wait a minute, we know this house down the street sold for X and this one sold for Y, and then you're saying ours is way down here. So, and the house is fine. The foundation's in good shape and all this. So
some of it is Johnson County. Anything, if you get an appraiser that is based out of Tarrant County or Denton County or Dallas County, like sometimes when they get too deep into Johnson County, they have no idea what is happening. So there have been times that I've had actual friends call me and go, okay, we have an appraiser, and he's basically, appraisers will ask realtors, what are your comps? Like, where are you getting these comps from? And I'll usually send like 10 comps because they're only going to use about four to six. And that way they know, like, I did actually look at this.
Yeah.
I didn't just take a guess at what this house is worth. But I've had friends who are even refinancing. They're like, the appraiser's not from here. They don't know really how to get comps. Can you send them to me? Yes, I can send them to you.
What other area of Johnson County besides Burleson is growing quickly?
Greenview, Godley. Godley's growing really quickly.
Why is Godley growing? I mean, I've liked it. Is it Del Norte Tacos? Is that it?
Maybe.
It's enough right there. But
I think Godley, it's a good enough school district.
Good enough. That's a ringing endorsement.
I know. I'm sorry. I don't know much about Godley school districts. I know I have friends that their kids go there and they love it. I don't. It's not highly ranked like Grandview's really highly ranked.
Is
right?
it really?
Yeah.
I didn't. Well, I knew they were a good school system. But.
And land is cheaper in Godley, so you can get a piece of property for cheaper. And build a house, but the values are really skyrocketing. So Godley is very much, we're at that have and have nots right now.
It's been a little while since I've been to Godley.
Yeah.
Last time I was there, I saw a lot of homes being started. I guess I should go back out there. Same thing with Grandview. And I have a couple of friends that live in Grandview that had been there when it was Grandview, not this exploding town. And they're going through what Burleson's going through. And in all sorts of ways, not just for real estate and whatnot, but also politically, culturally, whatever else, because you have old timers versus newcomers.
Yes.
That happened in Plano when I grew up. It
happens everywhere, really.
Every time you get a town that's exploding, the old timers and the newcomers always clash because their goals and their desires are different. And that's happened when I was late 70s in Plano. They had, we had a lot of people from the Northeast, a lot of Yankees. And so there was more than just usual.
That was because TI was there, Texas Instruments.
And General Motors bought electronic data systems, EDS, and GM had a big plant nearby.
Yeah.
Or a big office. The plant was in Arlington.
So you had a lot of people relocating.
We had a bunch from Detroit, a bunch from New York area, New York City, and a bunch from California. And they come in and they'd say, boy, it's hot here. Well, it ain't back home. So... or they complain about the politics, or or they come in and root for the Eagles instead of the Cowboys and stuff like that.
Well, now that's where you get me. You can talk about, I don't care about politics, but don't be rooting for the Eagles. If you're in Dallas.
Right. I mean, that drive you nuts. And so there was all sorts of bumper stickers like happiness of seeing, one Yankee carrying two Yankees back home, or something like that,
Allard, you're so bad.
But it's what they were saying. That's the ones I could repeat.
Oh my goodness.
Because you had a small Texas town blow up like that because Dallas was blowing up.
Yeah, but what's the alternative? I feel that way with Burleson. Like, there's no real alternative when you have a really fast growing city within 15 minutes.
Well, see, the biggest difference though is most of the people that move into Burleson, a great number of them are coming from DFW or at least Texas.
True.
Okay, that's a big difference.
Yeah.
most of these people.
Well, we don't have a draw of relocation though.
Yeah.
That's why Collin County has gotten so big though, is that you have a huge draw of relocation. You got Toyota, you got, there's a lot of
JCPenney was there for a while if they're still around. And there's a bunch of them that moved in, and EDS had that big Dallas outfit, but they also had a plant or a big office complex going on in Plano. But that was the difference, because most people around here are used to the culture.
They're coming. Yeah, that's true.
And then we get these guys coming in from New York City, and they want to bellyache about Mexican food or something like that. Oh, it's not as good as back home, but it's Italian. Like, well, shut up, you Yankee. But anyway.
I really feel like he's still very passionate about this.
Tell us how you really feel.
A lot of scars here, we don't want to hear about how great the Yankees and the Red Sox are, dadgummit, and that kind
I
of
like
stuff.
the Red Sox, not the Yankees.
Well, and then you go to like a Ranger game back then, and still the case, and half of the crowd is Yankee fans and such.
Well, I mean,
or Tiger fans.
I mean, we need a better team.
That's beside the point. Anyway, but it just but it does change. I mean, a lot of the talks we've had with other people from Burleson, people from city council or other businesses, they talk about, it has been an adjustment in culture for Burleson. You've been here since you were 12.
Yeah, and then I lived in Crowley before that. So literally I've been here
Not much
my
difference.
whole life.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you went to the schools when it was a school town and all this other stuff. You've seen the changes, and
for sure.
And it does take, it does take some accommodations.
Yes, you just have to. I mean, I guess you just have to look at the positive with the negative. Like, do I like Burleson traffic? No, I hate it. But I also am so grateful that I don't have to be on the highway all the time just to go get clothes for my kids.
Right. Well, if I complained about the traffic, I'd really sound like a curmudgeon, because there's two types of drivers that drive me crazy.
Here we go.
No, but I don't want to do that, because I still want to maintain a good relationship with the community. But it's like...
I feel like if people were people are oblivious to other people.
There, you got that right. When you live down Renfro and you got somebody going 30 and a 45, and you see this long line... it just drives you nuts. It's like, get out of the way.
It's just one of those, I tell my kids all the time, it's not really that they're bad driver. People literally are oblivious. They just are in their own heads, in their own mind, in their own space. So like if we would be like aware of our surroundings and people around us.
The speed limit is 45 on Renfro, East Renfro, not 30, Grandma. See, I gave myself away.
Oh,
you get Grandma taking her mother to church.
That's never going to be me. I have a lead foot.
Good for you. And it's like, and I really, particularly Sunday mornings, I feel like, well, now I got something to repent about when I get to church after that drive. But but it also...
My mom doesn't drive anymore because it scares her to death.
Well, that's just we talked about this with, like tomorrow I'm going to be talking about with Victoria about this. I've talked about it with the mayor, I've talked about it with Ronnie Johnson and Rick Green. Yeah. And that's, they tell me, particularly the council members said, that's the first thing that almost everybody talks about.
Is the traffic.
Is the complaints. Or that and multifamily homes.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah. I mentioned that last week that you were coming on the show. Who was it I had last week? I think it was the mayor.
Yeah.
And I said I was going to ask you about Section 8, but I figured,
Section 8. We can. Yeah. I mean, I've talked about it many times.
You have.
It's not what it used to be.
Yeah, but I think what
people take vouchers.
Yeah, right. It's not like one housing unit is all Section 8. It's they spread it through the community. Right. But it still is controversial for some. I
mean, sure, but people are still going to, here's the deal. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like when I was a baby and my mom first got divorced, we lived in government housing. It was all we could afford. So but we didn't live there very long. I mean, she figured out a way out, but this stigma of people taking help when they need it, there's always going to be people who take advantage of situations.
Exactly.
But that doesn't mean everybody is taking advantage of situations. Some people just need a little help for a little while.
Well, we were talking about this. I know we were talking about it. It wasn't really so much with the mayor, but I had Debbie Beeman on from Promises, and I had Jennifer Wood on from Harvest House, they were back-to-back shows.
Right.
And they were talking about, not just in housing as such, but they said that's a big problem. They're talking more about the food angle of it, but they also said that a lot of these people just don't have homes.
Right.
And it's not derelicts under the bridge we're talking about.
No.
We're talking about people like your mother and you when you were small.
Right.
A lot of it are
and the more expensive
families.
housing gets, the harder it gets for people to get housing.
Yeah, we were talking about this at length about how they get people that said, well, and they don't look like disheveled old bums or whatever, but they're living out of their car.
Exactly.
Or they're living on somebody's couch for a week and then they're living on somebody else's
They're
couch.
couch surfing. We have a lot of kids at Reinspire. They're couch surfing. And then, you know, what people don't understand is to get a job, you have to have an address. You have to physically live somewhere. You cannot give a hotel as your address.
Oh, Alex Phillips says, good morning. Hope you all have a Merry Christmas. You too, Mr. Phillips.
Oh, hello, Alex.
Yeah. You know, I tell you what, Alex, you try to get any secrets out of him. What's coming to town?
Thanks for Torchies, but I'm super happy about Kava.
Torchy.
Kava is going to be, you'll find me there about every day.
Okay.
I'm ready for that. Thank you, Alex.
Well, he won't tell me a cotton picking thing when he's on the show.
No, he's like a vault.
And it's like, okay, we're going to break out the rubber hoses on you, boy. Anyway, back to the matter at hand.
Well, he knows what happens if something's in the works and it doesn't happen and he said it. He knows the backlash of Burleson.
Well, but anyway, Jennifer and Debbie both are talking about housing and the real problem. And I've been talking to the mayor about homelessness. And I'm going to be talking with Victoria about it. And they said it's a problem that is growing in our community.
It is. I agree.
It's something that's come up on my show a lot the last month or so. And, you know, and Debbie and Jennifer were, I guess they were reluctant to give policy recommendations. But it's clear that they understood, we all understood, there has to be more available housing. How it happens.
Yeah. And I think that, I mean, I try to think my brain trying to think of what is that going to look like. Number one, I do feel like generational living is going to become bigger in the next generations. Like we are not going to be pushing our kids out of our house or putting our parents in homes like we have. We're going to have to learn how to not be so independent, you know, and other countries and other cultures have done it for centuries successfully. Also, I also think like in California, specifically Southern California, the prices of real estate are really, really high. So what you see is there used to be, so LA had put a moratorium for a long time on building little mother-in-law quarters or apartments in the backyards of your house, right? So for many, many years, they did not allow it when they realized it caused a lot of problems. And so like now they do allow it. And I know many people in Southern California, and a lot of them have lived in people's apartments above their garage or behind their houses for years. And I think that is where we're going.
Well, many years ago, I would say when the kids were still in high school, that's how long ago, we thought about building a mother-in-law suite because our parents were getting up there in age.
Yeah.
And it's not, then it was, no, it wasn't cheap, but now it's, oh boy, it's really expensive.
It is.
You know, and the kind of, you know, these small, tiny houses there seem to be real popular. I wonder how long they are popular. You know, after a while you go a little stir crazy in a little tiny house. Yeah.
But I think if it's specific to like, if your mom lived in your backyard, she wouldn't need a lot of space.
We'll get her a tent, you know, save money.
Well, like, I mean, it's on my list the next 2 to 3 years, 5-year long plan. Like I have a giant shop and like, I would like to make half of that an apartment and have number one, I would love to have an income, ability to help pay my mortgage. Right. And have an apartment back there. I live in the county, so I can. But number two, like when I get older, I mean, I hope the plan is one of my kids just take over my house and I just live in the apartment. Like I don't want to maintain that forever.
Well, we every now and then we what if about it.
Yeah.
And it would be probably well over 100,000 now. Back then it'd be half of that.
Yeah. But what is it long term to number one, if you had an income property and you could lease it out to somebody's kid or whoever that you actually know. Yeah. Or an older adult who is in between, how long would it take you to pay that off?
I don't know. I don't think of myself as
not long.
Well, I don't think of myself for not long for this earth anyway. So I don't. Why am I?
It also increases the value of your property.
Would it?
Oh, for sure.
So,
you don't get the full value
Right.
of what, it's not like its own house. You don't get a full value for a mother-in-law's quarters, but it does increase the value of your house quite a bit.
Well, it's something that we
And
still think about it.
it will do
He
more.
goes,
It's going to do that more, you guys. I mean, seriously, if you're listening, it will do that more as we continue to have housing issues because you are selling a house that has an income property attached.
Well, all we would need really is like 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, a kitchen area, a living area.
Right.
And that's about it. But, both our parents, since the parents are still alive.
Yes.
Thank God, which is unusual for people our age. Rob and I are no spring chickens anymore.
My grandma's 94.
Yeah. Well, my parents are not that far behind them.
Yeah.
And her parents aren't either.
Yeah.
And when one of them passes, you don't want the other one living by themselves.
Right. That's going to be really hard.
Yeah, and so we've thought about that. We also thought about, for a long time, my son wanted to buy a house, and he's got a professional job.
Right. But it's hard.
It's hard. I mean, he's an engineer, and
Right.
he's having a hard time finding an affordable house.
Right.
And so, it's not just, people making $15 an hour at Target or something like that. These are people that make, college degree jobs. They can't find houses they can afford. So it's almost impossible to do it on one income.
Yeah, I would agree.
And so that's been a real problem. As far as like the multifamily housing in Burleson, that's always been a hotspot issue with politics.
Yes.
It's been my impression that the federal government won't allow you to restrict low-income housing. I do remember a decade ago.
You have to have a certain amount of vouchers in a certain population.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember 10 years ago with the Obama administration, they made a big deal, said that this was not just for Burleson, but for a lot of towns, that they could be violating civil rights laws if they purposely restrict low-income housing.
Yes.
Or the ability for low-income housing residents to use vouchers in your community. Is that still a thing here? I haven't heard about it, but I know there was a decade ago.
I don't know what the restrictions are currently. I do know that, number one, it is within the rights of a homeowner. Like if you're going to lease your home, you can decide to take vouchers or not. There are advantages to taking vouchers. You're going to get paid. The government sends the check every month. You're not going to have to be hunting down that rent. So there are a lot of people who have large lease portfolios that do allow a certain number of vouchers because it offsets, those people who they're having to constantly call for the money.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so I just wondered if Burleson is obligated, I guess. I
don't know. Let me look into that.
Yeah.
That's not something that I deal with regularly. So I have had people call me for lease properties and say they take do they take vouchers? And you got to hunt it up, and it's difficult sometimes.
Well, I also expect in this next administration, next year, the federal government's going to increase vouchers in terms of home housing vouchers.
Well, I mean, I'm not, I know at risk of sounding like a liberal.
Uh-oh.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, we have to look at both sides of the picture of, like what Victoria says, homelessness is becoming a problem. And we're regular people homelessness, y'all, not like people who are choosing or have mental health issues. We're talking about people who go to work every day. They're trying to take care of their families. They're having a hard time living. And the higher housing goes up, the rental market will follow the housing market. So right now, rent is crazy. I don't think you'll understand how expensive rent is.
Yes, it is. My daughter will tell you that. And
so, like, as long as we keep rising, we're going to continue to have issues. So we're going to have something to buffer that.
Yes. If I ever want to get under the mayor's skin and say, hey, let's talk about that Main Depot apartment, because apparently they got hornswoggled a bit on that deal because there's supposed to be more retail outlets on this other stuff. Okay. And then they go, oh, never mind. We're going to put more people there instead. And so, so they're like, wait a minute. That wasn't
looks
the deal.
like it's going to be nice, though.
It'll be
real
fine.
Modern and nice. And there's a lot of life downtown. So, I mean, I think
the real reason a lot of people are uncomfortable at apartments is they look nice today, but 10 years from now, who knows?
Well, and I feel like then that's where the local government needs to set some restrictions on, like, not letting people be slumlords.
Well,
you know?
and I've talked about that with the mayor as well, and there are limitations. I'm going to talk with Victoria about that tomorrow because it's you can use certain city code enforcement, like they can on your yard. If I never mow my yard, they could come in and cite me for that. But as far as like keeping it up to date and all this other stuff, they're somewhat limited. Now they could make them keep it up to code,
right?
But they can't make them do past that.
Which, I mean, up to code, great. I mean, you can live in an older apartment that, if as long as it's kept nice, it doesn't have to have granite countertops.
No, but I'm just saying they're concerned that they'll let it get run down to a certain degree, and that I don't know.
But then maybe that's what we need to be voting on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe that's where we need to go higher up and vote on those sorts of things, because that's above the city's head. Even.
Yeah. It's well, and you also have to deal with the rights of private property.
Yeah.
There are certain limitations. And so, anyway, that's going to be probably a big issue in the upcoming election, which I'm sure will be very civil and cordial and more like a, Sunday school party than anything else.
Yeah.
Not really. Next month I have 3 people.
I don't live in the city, so.
Yeah, well, yeah. But next month, I've already had 3 people that are coming on the show that are going to run for office.
Nice.
Yeah. And
who are they? We can't say yet.
Well,
It's a surprise?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, one's not. One's the mayor. He's on all the time. He's made it very clear he's running again.
Okay.
The other 2 want to announce on that day.
Okay.
You can understand
I'm
that,
excited.
right?
No, I totally understand.
Yeah, I totally understand. So, anyway. But no,
It's
it's
not me.
fun.
I don't live in the city.
No. These are both, all 3 of these are city candidates.
Okay, good.
And so, and Victoria and I will be talking more about that tomorrow.
And when is her seat up, though?
A year from now.
Okay.
And I couldn't be more impressed with her.
Yeah, I love Victoria.
She really knows what she's talking about, and so involved.
Yes.
I mean, so I really appreciate what she does for us. Anyway, we're about done here. So
Okay.
we were, so anything you want us to know? Here's your chance.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Ooh.
Not yet. Okay. When can we see you next?
You can see me in January.
January. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Good.
We'll see what the rates are doing in January. So far, it doesn't look like they're going to raise them. Things are kind of settling in, but we'll see. That could change.
Okay. We'll see you in about a month.
Okay.
See what's changed then. Okay. And Taylor, thank you. Try to stay out of trouble as you can.
I'll try.
Quit hassling the customers as well.
Right?
Only one of them.
All
Only
right.
one of them.
Only one of them. Okay.
That's a lie. I do,
All right.
everybody.
Tomorrow we have Victoria. On Thursday we have Chris at Wild Cigars. So we'll see you then.